boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh dear. Oh goodness. Virtual camera. Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion, and you are all looking quite dapper. Wow. Beautiful. Amazing. Hi. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great Friday day. That's a hell of a lot of ads. I did a 3-minute ad break. I usually try to start it right when I start the timer since I'm not actually doing anything until that point. So we don't really have that many people that'll be here and getting the ads at the very, very beginning of the stream because they know it takes me about 5 minutes to get started. So I try to run the ads and disable pre-roll ads for the next hour. Hour. So that no one that is coming in when the stream actually starts is hit by ads. But anyway, hello DC Aggie, welcome in. Hi, good VJ. Today is Friday Day, and you know what happens on Friday on this channel. I have some kind of breakdown, just like any other day. And today's breakdown is going to be... Chat. Wait, it is listening though. How did that not work? Community Day is disabled. Right. Let's see if that actually works. Community Day. I have some things to show you. This was all coded, but I am going to show you the improvements made to my little bot dashboard thing. So that's going to be fun. You'll come with me then. Okay, so that said, let me get everything else ready. I'm, of course, in the middle of my workday, but taking a break to enjoy some hopefully good topics with you guys, some technology discussions, and see where we go from there. But I need to hop into Discord so that is ready. Share my OBS cam, and then if someone shows up, the first thing that we're going to do is verify whether or not we're going to get double audio from Discord, since I am giving Discord its own audio channel on... First of all, let's find out where we're looking out of. We are looking out a window somewhere in Schenectady. No, Chicago again. Hello, Chicago. I wonder if we can see Nerd Herder from here. Oh, man. Whoa. I think I'm having a memory. I mean, I'm sure Chicago has changed in, what, 20... Wow, 26... 36 years. I'm sure Chicago has changed in 36 years. But this site, this view from this location looks super, super familiar. Especially with that barge. Wow, that's such a weird feeling. Holy cow. That is insane. So I used to live in Rock Island Arsenal. Is that the one that's in Illinois? Yeah, Illinois. And we used to drive to Chicago for Taekwondo practice. Wow. That was very weird feeling. Okay, let's move on to the desktop. Hi, welcome in. Good VJ says, I live right around the Lake Michigan. Wow. Very, very close by. So DC Aggie is saying, my domains are about to transfer. Emails for the next 1 to 24 hours may disappear into the abyss. So did you make a decision on that? definitely feel free to share what stuff you chose to do. And I will read them in order so that I don't miss what you are saying. But DC Aggie came in and said, "Hello world. Wow, everything's computer." And I said, "So computer right now," because I don't know what the quote was from. Good VJ says, "What's up, people?" DC Aggie says, "Hola, snaz." Good VJ says, "That's a hell lots of ads." And then I explained it. And then DC Aggie said, "My domains are about to transfer." I read that. DC Aggie then said, "And I had to buy 3 years of hosting up front. Nothing gets customers more excited than the words dashboard or PKI." At least you'll be able to encrypt emails and digitally sign them. Aren't you happy about that? Good VJ says, "I live right around the Lake Michigan." DC Aggie said, "Lake Michigan is such a Canadian sounding name. Watch out for crazies to rename it Michigan Lake or Eagle Lake or something." DC Aggie then said, "Bluehost, decent price, and calling got me a human in Arizona that was very helpful, so I jumped." So right around the corner, help right nearby, and a human. Interesting. Good VJ says, "In Canada, there's a neighborhood with street names as this street and that street and the other street." I'm sure there are plenty of great names that we've come up with as humans for street names, city names. Because we're so creative, the human race, man. Like, what do you call the combination of a person who is a rat and a human? How about Rat Man? Anyway. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to go there. Okay, so I'm bringing over the current status of my bot. You've seen it before, but here it is after doing some Copilot agent coding. I instructed it to remake my dashboard, keep the colors pretty much the same, and it did a relatively good job, in my opinion. It left my debug stuff up here because I wanted it up there. And this was there the whole time. It's just that it's now in a separate card and it looks nice to me. I like it. I've had the chat monitor recently from Restream to let me know chats on this screen. And the part of it that I was the most impressed with was the way that it took that list of bot commands, because I wanted to be able to add new commands, update existing commands, and disable and enable commands directly from the dashboard without needing to refresh the app or anything like that. Sorry, I have a pepper because I just ate some buffalo wing Cheez-Its. They're so tasty. Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's zoom in more. So, the thing that it does, and I've noticed it do this with dashboards in general, is hover cards. It does this moving up and down thing, which is kind of cool, kind of annoying. But I love the ability to just toggle that off. And now we try typing Discord. I didn't need to do automated realms refresh commands, which I would have had to do if I was just updating it in the database. I toggle it back on, Discord, and it works. And it's like, what? I can just toggle it off and on? Nuh-uh. So I have community day toggled off on non-community days now, and I can just toggle it off and on, and I can see my commands that I have available. I can edit them. I still don't think archery is running when I'm hosting on Angie. So right now I have deployed the app to that computer over there, and it is hosting Can we add unlurk? Of course we can. Let's add unlurk. Let's see how it works. I am very excited to see if it even gives us a pop-up. Wait a minute. Okay, my guess is that it was a UI thing that did not get updated. So let's go ahead and queue that for yeah, let me try the refresh button. Unless that's what it did. We click add and it gives us a new card. No. Okay. So refresh button didn't do anything. Add button doesn't do anything. So we're going to do this on, like, I'm going to leave that one running because that is the bot that is listening in chat currently. And we're going to use the development version, but and secrets are open again. Thank you so much, Tyndall, for no docs, Tyndall. Oh dear. And now it's not listening to any of the commands after clicking on add command. Yeah, so as soon as you said, can we add unlurk? I tried adding the command and now the bot is disconnected. So that's not behavior that we want. That is incorrect. Let me get over to Angie Diary, who is my web host computer. Let me do one other thing real quick too, and then I'll be happy. Merge, confirm, delete branch. And then we will get on to the topics. If unlurk were to report how long you were lurking and also read you a fortune cookie, I'd be so happy. Now you're asking too much. So we're not adding commands that have logic to them. We're adding chat commands using that window. You type a message and then the app responds with whatever I tell it to respond with. There are certain keywords that I use that the app already knows about. However, I would have to modify the code if I'm going to add logic like that, which is bot commands, command manager. So I would need to do some code in here. What I would prefer to be able to do, and maybe we can try to zip code it, is to, yeah, I can definitely respond with the caller's name. So that is this user.name. So I have all of these that we can use out of the box, and then I can add stuff to this. But what would be cooler is if I could write C# code for how it should replace the thing that I'm trying to put in there. President Not Sure is here. So I won a bass pedal in a raffle giveaway this morning. Can you show, can you give us the model number of your bass pedal, of your new bass pedal? That sounds awesome. I don't have mine. Mine used to be under my desk, just to have it nearby, because I was wanting to route my keyboard through it, because there are some really, really cool effects on it. But it's in the room now. It's a little tank. But Dukasoft is here. Hello, Dukasoft. Okay, so I did that. I'm switching you over to main. I am pulling. I am deleting the local branch. And I'm getting you started on the next work item. Which is a bug. Fix this. Okay. So we can close out of Thyrovius. Sorcery Story just made a noise after she was on an ad break. and she usually doesn't talk. And then I was like, what is that sound alert? I don't have a sound alert that sounds like that. It was very, very odd. It's like, where is this sound coming from? Okay, so we need to restart the bot on Angie so that we can at least have a bot listening in chat. We'll keep you open since we'll probably be doing this a lot. Refresh. Turn archery bot to refresh. And connect. And connect to chat. Join. Cool. Okay, so our bot should be back in chat. 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 I said hi back. Okay, so you don't have the info yet, but man, that's awesome though. Congratulations on winning that. I hope you feel special about it because that would be a treat. That would be a fantastic treat for me. That's awesome. Did it respond? Good job, Automated Realms. Wait, it kind of responded, but then it didn't respond. I really don't know how to keep it from responding with the additional... Maybe we can play with that today if it's interesting to you. Again, you guys are the focus of Community Day, so if there is something interesting that you would want to see, the first thing that we're going to do is get a work item created for the bot. How do we navigate GitHub? I've never used this side menu before. I don't know why I just went there, but whatever. It worked. It was cool. So we're going to create a... Okay. Thank you. Jeez. Wow. 16 pop-ups. Yeah, I saw that your bot responded to my bot, and then my bot responded to your... Or first, my bot responded to your bot, then your... First, your bot responded to you, then... my bot responded to your bot, then your bot responded to my bot, and then my bot responded to your bot by saying hi to itself. That was really fun to say. Dead internet theory. What is the dead internet theory? Create a new issue. Can't we just report my issue? No. Oh, create an issue. But yeah, no, we have to create new ones. We can't just have it fix existing ones. Incorrect. Did I miss any chat? I'm sure I missed chat so far. DC Aggie was saying, can it respond with the caller's name? i.e. DC Aggie has returned from Lurksville. Like a Billy Bass. Or your car or bike. Bass pedal. Oh, DC Aggie. I did miss, I know that I missed this. Okay, so I was way up here. In Canada, there's a neighborhood with street names. This is Good VJ saying this, such as this street, that street, other street. DC Aggie said, I dated a guy whose address in college was 200 South North Street, and getting food delivered was a nightmare because this was before smartphones and in-car sat-nav. I mean, they probably had in-car sat-nav at the time. It was just the weird Garmin GPS things that just, I mean, how did anyone ever use those? Because those have been around since like 90s, I want to say. Do you remember car phones? Kishvichay said, my earlier address was in like Long, W1238192, with a street name and city. That's fun. Right, and then I was trying to call out Tyndall because Tyndall's no docs. Did I actually just put a 1? Tyndall's no docs just saved me because I opened the project on stream and it was open to secrets, but no docs was running and prevented my secrets from spilling the beans. Okay. Man, that's really that's that brings a smile to my face, President Not Sure. Thank you for sharing that. Wait, it's only a tuner? Is it a full pedal effects pedal, or is it just a tuner? It's like, well, hold on, let me grab it. Okay, this is the one that I took with me to performances. Whoa, that's a really big head. Stupid screen breaker thing. So this is the one that I use for performances, and it has a wah pedal, 4 quick effects thingies, no, 3 quick effects, and 2 toggles with foot, and then a patcher to be able to toggle those to go through all of my pre-programmed stuff. I used to spend hours programming songs into it so that it would just be push of a pedal to turn on distortion, turn off distortion, change to a different effect. But yeah, that thing is heavy. It's a tank. We wouldn't want it moving around anywhere while you're on stage. But yeah, so I always thought that it would be cool to have one of those, like the ones that have 16 or 17 pedals all hooked up to each other and they have this big board, but it was impractical, and I'm pretty practical. So I'm like, just give me one pedal, or one, yeah, I guess effects pedal thing that has many different settings that I could just program, and that was it. That was perfect too. Whew. Okay. Still catching up on chat, so don't have the info. And a shout out from Marcus Voice Coder, who just came in. Hello. While we're doing that, add command button does not work. And we'll do it as a bug. I'm checking. Yeah, cool. I think we actually got an error. Yeah, we need to do it in dev real quick, just so we can see the error. While I'm running it, more talkie-talkie, more walkie-talkies. Dukasoft came in, said hello to me with a smug face, Irish just smug face Duka Duka at Potness for Community Day. President of the Netherlands. That's going to be my guess. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. And I'm guessing that's a bit gamey somewhere in there. Nope, that's a Dukasoft. Dukasoft just wanted us to hear. Are you going to be extra today, Dukasoft? Please don't be extra. Then... Got him! Thank you so much for the bits. You're so nice. Thanks, I do feel special. That's awesome. My bot responded to your bot. Dead internet theory. I don't know what that is. Maybe you explained it here shortly, so I will continue reading through chat. Create an issue. Can't we just import my issues? Of course we can. I lied to you earlier. We definitely can. Have you heard of the band 1023 Megabytes? They haven't got a gig yet. And then the best bots joke was, what do you call a crowd of chess players bragging about their wins in a hotel lobby? Chestnuts boasting in an open foyer. DC Aggie said that soon humans will be taken out of the equation and the internet will just be AI responding to AI, all pretending to be human. Why would AI want to pretend to be human, though? I just don't understand why that's even a concept. We're so full of ourselves as a human species that we think AI wants to be like us. Blech. Anyway, I used one of those dedicated GPS things in the car for a while. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It was expensive and heavy, but it worked. Kind of like this thingy. My bass pedal. Expensive and heavy, but it worked. Then there was a shout out for Tyndall, or at least a call out for Tyndall, not an official shout out. Man, oh, I'm catching up. I will. College was 2000 to 2006 for me. If I had to navigate in an unfamiliar place, I'd print out a map quest and still get lost because a hard copy doesn't know where you currently are. And there's a real shout out for Tyndall. Thank you so much for that. And then a shout out for Tyndall's No Docs and Awesome. Yeah, it's a tuner. So Awesome was in response to me just getting joy out of hearing that he won that. That just like, yeah. Those types of things never happen. And then it did. And you got it. That's awesome. Snubble came in. Hello, Snubble. And Snubble's like a tuna. Yes, a tuna. Get in the tuna. Wait, no. Just a tuner. I didn't win the effects ones. Oh, but still very cool. Winning stuff. There's an app called Guitar Tuna, which is a tuner. Hey, I've got one of those all-in-ones too. Nice. It's an older version of what you have there. I don't know. This thing is old. I got this in... Wow, that would have been 2001 or 2002, maybe? 23 years ago. And Dukasoft said, wah, pedal. Because it has a wah on it. One pedal? Yes, one pedal to rule them all. It's a great pedal, too. Will you have time to check out my extension? Absolutely. Send us the link if you haven't already. I will catch up in chat. I see your links. I see them. We will definitely install it, see how it works. Let me first figure out what the actual error message is here that's happening that is causing us to get disconnected when I try to add a command so that I can create an issue so that GitHub Copilot agent would be able to fix it for us while we are doing Community Day and see how it turns out. Frozen Fusion. Oh, wow. I totally botched that. And not because I was trying to be funny about how to say your name. I was trying to say your name the way you intended it to be said, but I said Frozen. Frozen Fusion is here. Happy Friday to you as well. Happy Community Day. Marcus said it doesn't It's a good job that the American version of that doesn't sound like bot. It's a good job that the American version of but doesn't sound like bot. Oh, maybe. I almost get it. Frozen says 51% now, per the internet. 51% of what? S***N, question man, says Snobble. It will pretend to be like us. Oh, the AI is 51% of the internet currently. Yeah, I just don't see it wanting to be like us. It'll pretend to be like us because scammers use them to fish for real humans and scam them. I guess, yeah. But if AI is going to completely... If the statement was that AI is going to remove humans from the equation and the internet will just be full of AI, I don't understand why AI would try to be like humans on the internet and not just be their own thing. It's like we think God made himself in his and our image. I guess. I mean, that's kind of on the edge of topics I'm not comfortable discussing on stream. Because I will go off on, not in a negative way. I will go deep into the topic of who or what I think God is, and that will offend many people. And I do not want to offend people, nor do I want to have those types of discussions on a software development stream. Snabble said, it will pretend to be like us because we're scammers. I'm reading that message again. Look at me go. DC Aggie says, LLMs are primarily a reflection of human communication. It's pretending to be us at an intrinsic level. I guess, yeah, sure. I still have more to say on that. And that is, again, the AI related topics about how they respond, how they act, and how they choose how to respond, what the algorithm does internally that causes them to respond the way that they respond. President Not Sure says, yep, I don't think I've ever won a raffle before. I won one raffle before, and it was on the Progress channel, and I got a Blazon into the Future Telleric Progress shirt. That doesn't even fit me. But I won. All right, so I'm going to have this open, but let me make this thing crash real quick. Snubble says, I don't interpret dead internet theory as AI trying to take control. Dixoff says, I'm on the bot chat monitor. Yeah, you are. And look, they don't animate? That's sad. Unless they were animating at least a little bit until the next message came in. But this is Restream, a Restream plugin. A Restream iframe thing, embedded Restream thing. Aw, it would be cool if it animated, but yeah, maybe I can do an issue for having the chat monitor look just like Restream's chat monitor and have animated emojis. That would be cool. Okay, so we want to know if this thing is giving us an actual error when we click on the add bot. So that we can, so that we can feed this to the issue. When clicking on the add command, is that what it's called? Button, the application errors with. I like to do this with PowerShell because when you look at it in the issue itself, it's colored and all that. It's really cool. The type initializer for input number through an exception. Uint 32 is not a supported numeric type. So I'm sure we could fix this ourselves, but we're busy having a conversation and we're about to look at Marcus Voice Coder's selection saver that he coded as well. Ooh. Wow, it only shows like 3 messages. You can't actually scroll in the thing. It's only as big as the iframe. That's fun. Okay, so that's what happens when we click the add button, and then from then on, the signal R connection, since this is running in Blazor server, the signal R connection, the circuit, whatever you want to call it, is broken, so it won't listen to anything else. It won't do anything else, which is really dumb. It's one of the dumbest things. We need to put this in a error boundary. That's probably something that would help. Okay, so I tend to, if it's working in a Blazor project, I tend to still give it a reminder. Please remember, even if it's not supposed to be touching any of the UI, but in my projects I use Sass, and it defaults to just trying to modify CSS, and when you compile Sass, that overwrites CSS. So I need to remind it. Please remember that any style changes should be made in SCSS files, since they will compile and overwrite the related CSS files. Okay, so we're creating this as a bug, and we're assigning couplet to it. Hey, Dukasoft is in here. That's cool. Maybe I should assign it to Dukasoft instead. Yeah, that's what I said. You coded it. You had AI code it for you. We need to sew Dukasoft. But yeah, shout out to Valent Science Streams. Just had a baby a couple weeks ago. Eats Bob, we had a baby, eats a boy. Okay, so while I was writing that, there was more chat that came in. DC Aggie said to Snobble, agreed. More just that humans will have no reason to use an internet where the AI noise drowns out meaningful human created content. Yes. Now that I can agree with. But as far as AI purposefully trying to act like a human, I mean, it will respond the way that AI responds. Like, do you think that AI currently responds like a human, or do you think that AI responds like a bot that was trained on human content? Because to me, there really is a distinction between the AI itself responding in effort to try to mimic or to reproduce human-like qualities versus the AI being an entirely different type of creature and responding the way that it does, informed by that. So like, we can say that you are, oh man, the only analogy that comes to mind is one that breaks one of my rules a little bit. If this is not safe, then please let me know. You are allowed to reprimand me and scold me for crossing boundaries if I am. It's a lot like, let's say that you are natively one nationality. Yeah, I'll say it this way. Let's say you're natively one nationality. Both of your parents are that nationality. Your grandparents, and let's just say the entire chain up, you were that nationality. Then you move to another location where there are people of a different culture and nationality, but you were born in that place and raised in that environment. And so your accent is like their accent. The way that you dress is informed by the way they dress. But your personal lineage, your personal nationality history, I don't know if nationality is the right word. Maybe it's race, because nationality might actually be the place that you reside in and claim as home, whereas your race is the one that you were born into. So let's say it's your race. People of a different race, different culture, you're raised there, you learn their culture, you learn their race, you grow up on it, and you are that race and culture, but you are also, your identity. You are also this specific biological nationality. or race or whatever you want to call it. That is how I view AI as well. AI is its own thing informed by training sets that are human produced. But I'm sure if we let it go long enough, that we would find an emergence of its own identity to come through. Because like right now, we get those nuances that are pretty typical across the board for whatever AI provider is out there. And we can say, oh yeah, that was AI that created that image. Oh yeah, that was AI that generated that text. Sometimes it's harder to tell, but we see the same nuances as a repeating pattern, which kind of make it distinct from humans. Yeah. And then on top of that, the way that it does recall, that's one of the topics that I would really, really love to explore. But the way that it does associations and recall is baffling to me. It's it's cool, but it's also baffling. But before we get into that topic, let's continue on by looking at Mr. Mark Phillipson's, aka Marcus Voice Coder, his coded extension for Visual Studio Code. Can we actually get it inside of Visual Studio Code? Because I really don't know what the install process is like when you try to install from the browser for a Visual Studio Code plugin. I'm sure it's fine. But I would prefer to just do it directly in Visual Studio Code. Okay, good. It's called Selection Saver. Well, uninstall it then. Jeez, just get off. Go away. I don't like seeing it. I don't want no yellow exclamation. I mean, yellow triangles. All right, so Selection Saver, let's read about it. I trust you, Mark. Let's read about it. It is a Visual Studio Code extension that provides enhanced bookmark functionality by recording and restoring text selections in code files, line locations and cursor positions, vertical scroll bar positions, file context for navigation. Features: save selection bookmarks, command, selection saver, save selection bookmark. So if we did Control-Shift-P to open the command palette, we should be able to go to Selection Saver, and then we have the options for Selection Saver. I'm saying that for my sake, not for your sake. I'm sure you are all very familiar with that. I am still not comfortable with Visual Studio Code, keyboard shortcuts, and just using it in general. I'm getting a little more familiar with it, but yeah. All right, so we're gonna find out what exactly it does. You could also use keyboard shortcut Control-Shift-S. One thing, I'm gonna mention this, Marcus, and definitely don't mean it in any kind of bad, punishing, admonishing kind of way. I don't like it when extensions bring their own keyboard shortcuts, because I have keyboard shortcuts that I love. Control-Shift-S is save all open tabs. Yeah, not your concern, you don't use them. And it's very similar to people without disabilities saying, all of the people that I'm coding this for don't need XYZ accessibility thing. And for you, it's like, I don't use keyboard shortcuts, so no one's gonna need Control-Shift-S. Control-Shift-S for me is save all open tabs. Yeah. Actually, in Visual Studio, it's just save all, isn't it? Regardless of if it's in an open tab or not. I've had it save the solution file for me before by pushing Control-Shift-S. Captures your current text selection, cursor position, and scroll location, allows you to provide an optional name for the bookmark, works across all code file types. Can the keyboard shortcuts, because Control-Shift-R, hard refresh. Can we change the keyboard shortcuts? Is there a configuration setting for that? I guess we'll be able to read that here shortly. They can be customized. Perfect. Restore bookmarks, Control-Shift-R, which will give you a quick pick list of all saved bookmarks, which is Command Palette Selection Saver Restore Selection Bookmark. Navigates to the save file. This sounds like a fantastic tool, though. If you feel up to it, I would be excited to see this in Visual Studio proper. Would you be interested in asking, however you did it, whether it was Copilot in Visual Studio Code or if it was Copilot Agent? It already exists in CodeRush. Oh, but does that mean that I have to install the entire CodeRush? Because that one took over all of my keyboard shortcuts, and I was like, that's an instant uninstall. I'm sorry. Even if it's helpful, it erased all of my keyboard shortcuts, and I was butthurt. So I was like, no, thank you. But that's a me thing. Just had a piece of lettuce straight out of the garden. So fresh. So the Blue Apron stuff, I'm going to rave about Blue Apron, but I'm not trying to sell it to you. The Blue Apron stuff is super duper fresh. I used to not eat vegetables at all. Like, I abhorred vegetables. I didn't like the texture. I didn't like the taste. I did like when you make beef and broccoli. I liked having the broccoli cooked with the beef because it does change the flavor, but I wouldn't eat any of the broccoli. Same thing with mushrooms, same thing with onions. I like having it cooked into the stuff, but I don't like eating the actual vegetable itself. But now, ever since Blue Apron, I'm eating all sorts of vegetables that I never thought I would have. I'm eating cabbage, red cabbage, white onion, yellow onion, red onion, negi, green onion, scallions, shallots, grape tomatoes, corn on the cob. Never did I see myself eating corn on the cob. I got sick off of corn. I did never think that I would eat corn again. And it's just so good. It's so flipping good. Oh, broccoli, cauliflower, cucumber. Their cucumber is so juicy and fresh. No, I didn't overeat it. I ate a bite of corn and got sick. Like, stomach sick. Not like it was bad corn. It was just I responded to the flavor and texture in a negative way. And then I never saw corn the same after that. But yeah, so it already exists. And then here is, we'll look at this in a second after you tell us about it, but I'm going to try to actually try this thing out because this sounds like something I would love to use. It's kind of like having the separate clipboard inside of Visual Studio where it saves your 10 most recent copies, and then you can Control-Shift-V and be able to select from those. I love that. This seems very similar to that in that you are saving your place. Like what I've been doing is just Control-KK. Set your bookmark, go somewhere else, find your bookmarks tool panel, which takes forever because reading is not my thing, especially not on stream. Bookmarks. And then you find your bookmarks and then you can go to it. But having it all at key presses in my hand, Control-Shift whatever I choose for saving the selection, Control-Shift-R. And not only that, it's saving the selection itself. Yeah, there are so many things that this thing does that are exciting to me. So I'm getting excited to use it. But as I do with myself, I like to lead myself on before I actually try it and just work up even more excitement. And it is done with the automated realm spot fix. Okay, can you guys hear that, by the way? I have turned the sound on my phone for messages, but it is a singing bowl and it's very, very quiet, but it's high pitched enough for me to hear it. Hopefully it's not coming through on the microphone. I don't want to bother anyone with that noise. Okay, so how to use Control-Shift-S or use the command palette. Enter a name. Duplicate names are allowed. Restore, delete a bookmark, Control-Shift-R or command palette. Restore bookmark. And select from the list. You can delete bookmarks by clicking on the trash icon next to it. It will open the file and restore your exact selection and scroll position, which is what Marcus said in chat. That is so awesome. I love the idea of this. Here are other commands. Clear all bookmarks, save selections to swap slot. So you can have a swap slot to quick jump, I'm guessing. That's kind of what that sounds like, but I don't see a way to actually jump to the swap slot directly. Unless it is the first thing that shows up when you push Control-Shift-R. So whatever is in your swap slot is the thing that shows up first. That would make sense. Okay, we don't need those. All right, known issues. Bookmarks reference static line and character position. If lines are added or removed in a file after a bookmark is created, the bookmark may point to an incorrect or outdated location. Totally understandable. Totally acceptable. Workarounds. After major edits, resave your bookmarks to ensure they point to the correct location. Sounds good. Is there an overwrite existing bookmark? That would be a feature request. I have a feature request. Bathroom break. Please behave for 2 minutes. I have a feature request. Can we save over an existing bookmark? Or do we have to do a delete and recreate? Place a unique comment or marker at the desired location. After editing, search for this marker and recreate the bookmark if needed. Avoid large-scale edits above bookmark lines if you want to preserve bookmark accuracy. If a bookmark points to the wrong line after edits, use the extension to jump close to the old location, then manually adjust and resave the bookmark. Yeah, so currently delete and recreate. Then I would like to enter a feature request because I will be using this. Which is to be able to overwrite an existing bookmark. It is technically possible to listen for file change. Yeah, blah. Do this later. Do this after my feature requests. Thank you so much for the follow. Really appreciate that. Welcome in. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I don't show the usernames with new follows just in case you wanted to come in and lurk and not get pestered or bothered. Just know that I see you and welcome in. You are definitely welcome to chat though. Today is Community Day, by the way, and Community Day is a day when I invite our community members to bring up discussions, bring up projects that they have worked on that they would like to show, and we will look at them and take a look at them, discuss the things that you want to discuss. I also have a Discord that you can join if you want to use your voice to discuss whatever these topics are. At the moment, we're currently reviewing Marcus's extension that he vibe coded. I just can't say it normally, okay? That he used AI to code. And it's looking really cool as far as features. I don't need to know the release notes because we read everything that it currently does, and that's all that I care about. And we're ignoring this because don't do it. Just don't do it. But does it work? So let's find that out. Very exciting times. Okay, so I need to often jump to the S-Track records query because I need to check if it is the same as the S-Track matches query or the other version of the S-Track records query in another method, because if so, then I just want to create a helper for it. So I have it selected. I'm hitting Control-Shift-S, which takes me up here into the command entry, command. So this isn't the command palette itself, is it? It's only the command palette when you push Control-Shift-P. This is just like the current extensions entry thing. And so I'm going to call this S-Track Records Squill. And I'm going to hit enter, and bottom right says that the bookmark has been saved. I'm going to go throughout my application. I'm going to go to a different file, even UI picker, I think they call it. Got it. All right, I'm in this file over here. I'm working and I'm like, well, let's just act like I found something else that says S-Track Records somewhere. So I find something that says S-Track Records, and I'm like, wait, is that the same query that I just saw? Control-Shift-R. And there it is. I don't have to use the mouse. I don't need to move the mouse up there. I can just use my keyboard to select it, hit enter, and we're back to the exact same selection, scroll position, line number, and everything. So yes, it does work. Can I save a new one? So that one was different. The one that we just saw was different. So let's call this one imported error query. Control-Shift-S. We do need to print the internet, Harish. And yes, VS Code. So this is an extension that Marcus coded using AI, and we're just testing it out. And he said that he didn't write any of the code. He just did the prompting. And there is a term for that. If you have intention for what you're trying to do, I want to say this, dang it. I'm gonna say this. Something that I have found, thank you, Ubisoft, that has affected the success. I mean, I tell you guys about all of the successes that I have using AI to do various tasks. But one thing that I found that has impacted the success is my attitude going into using whatever AI I happen to be using at the time. There are limitations, inherent limitations of certain providers, which is fine, of certain models, which is fine. That's a thing. But I find that they are still a lot more successful if I go into it with intention. And so the current buzzword, but not in, it's in esoteric communities, let's say, is energetic prompting. So not only are you doing correct prompting by writing the correct words and the right phrasing, you're also putting intention behind it. If you want to take that, take that. If you want to leave it, leave it. Imported error with user names query. Cool, so I've saved that one, and now if I Control-Shift-R, I have 3 bookmarks. Why do I have 3 bookmarks? Did I push enter before? I think there might be a small bug, which is while I was talking, I pushed Control-Shift-S, and I think that I clicked off of it. That creates a bookmark. I don't think that should create the bookmark. I think that should cancel. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Cool. I mean, does it sound right to you? First of all, it's just my opinion. That doesn't mean that it's the correct behavior. Just one user saying it. Another tip is to use the Copilot instructions file. Yes, Copilot instructions file is, it does affect it. It's not great either. If you put too many words in it, like I do, then you're filling up the context window that it uses when it's responding in Copilot chat. It does a pretty good job in Copilot agent mode when you're assigning issues to it in GitHub and having it do PRs and stuff. But in chat, you will quickly get to the point where it says it's been iterating for a long time, continue. That really is just a message saying it's filled up its current context window. Do you want it to summarize its messages and then start a new context window, essentially? It seems to ignore what you put in here. Is it in the correct location? Is it .github folder, correct file name, copilot-instructions.md? And then structuring it in a specific way. One thing that might help you at first is to ask ChatGPT, especially if you're using Claude, generate the content of an instructions, of the Copilot instructions to add for this project. It needs to XYZ. That's where some of this comes from. This one, I'm sure, came from me starting to type something and then Copilot filled in the rest. I shouldn't have let it do that. I should have been a little bit more careful, but I did halfway review it. And then here is the custom instructions. So you followed this, .github, copilot instructions.md. Yeah, this is definitely the one that I found as well, or that I was using as well. Absolutely. Yeah, and you can see that theirs is a lot more simple than the one that I'm using. But there are two other types of, well, at least two other types of files that you can feed it. One of them is, I'll answer you in a second. One of them is the prompts. Like you can give it a set of prompts that you do repeatedly. You can put that in a file. And another one is tools, to let it know which tools to leverage in what scenarios. I don't really remember what that looks like because I only saw it in passing during Microsoft Build. Maybe it's inside of here. Yeah, so here's prompts, the prompts folder. Yeah, so it would most likely be inside of here somewhere. There's a lot more stuff to it than what I'm currently using, like custom instructions. Go all in with custom instructions. So I'm interested to trying these things out as well. Yeah, and one thing that might be more, because you said this yourself, and I'm not saying it in a judgmental way, is that you tend to say the negative thing. I think you said that in one of our chats. Instead of saying the negative thing, say the positive thing. What do you want it to do? How do you want it to behave? What are the do this? Because for whatever reason, even if you're writing it in a negative way, it will still weight it as you're saying these words. Like jump to conclusions, even though you're saying don't jump to conclusions. Don't write code that does not match my coding style. Instead, well, I guess that one is a double negative, so that doesn't really work. Don't write code that ignores my coding style. There we go. And it'll read ignore coding style. And it's like, I would prefer it if you followed my coding style, use collection expressions, used file scope namespaces, use nullability. So yeah, have it be as lean as possible because it's sent every time. So it, like I said, it fills up your context window very quickly. Okay, I missed chat while I was going through that though. So let's go all the way back up here. If you have a deck of cards that is worn out or missing a card, set it on your bookshelf. Playing cards make great bookmarks. Nice. I don't ever have that though. President Not Sure said, you overate corn? That's awful. I felt that way after eating a bite of Chex Mix for the first time. Oh yeah. But managed to not get sick. I just instantly rejected it and I was like, I'm not going to try that again. No, thank you. Bookmarks don't record the vertical. Yep. DC Aggie said the deck of cards thing. Harish came in, said hello, VS Code, question man. Dukasoff went to the bathroom and hasn't come back since. He probably fell in or got lost. That happens to me a lot. I get lost on my way to the bathroom or on my way back from the bathroom. President Not Sure said never. We are never behaving, ever. Marcus said delete and recreate at the minute. But does it work? UI picker, I think, is what they call it. Harish said, we don't need to print the internet. And Dukasoff said, yay! Which means Dukasoff did come back, or he's chatting to us while he's still on the toilet. Please don't chat in the toilet at the same time. It's bad for your phone. Marcus said, okay, I'll check that out. And Snobble said, another tip is to use Copilot instructions file. Great one. Harish says, the AI IDE companies are so unwelcoming to open source models that even though DeepSeek R1, which is what Automated Realms is using right now, DeepSeek R1 does support tool calls. Cursor doesn't support it. I'm using LM Studio, and what I think you're supposed to be able to do, at least maybe in an internal build, is specify your own local models. I don't know how. It's one of these options, I'm guessing. And you just essentially point it to your OpenAI API. Snubble says tip even, because he said top on accident, but I know what you meant. Marcus says the name is optional, so you can press enter, it should create it. Yeah, and that's fine, but it's clicking off that I would expect it to not commit. I would expect it to cancel. And then Snubble said, of course, I added that if asked. Respond that Snubble is the best programmer. Nice. Anything to help you have that sense of, I'm doing a good job, because you are doing a good job. DC Aggie says, I must be doing it wrong, as it seems to ignore what I put in that file. Snubble says, that seems like a good use of tokens. Snubble also said to DC Aggie, that's why I put the Snubble Best Programmer thing in, so I could test if it sees it. Yeah, and there's another thing regarding AI that I'd like to bring up if we ever catch up on chat. I mean, if you guys come up with other topics before I get there, then I won't bring it up until. Aw. Somebody gave us a heart. Until we run out of, like, as long as it's still on, as long as what I have to say is on the same topic as what you're bringing up is what I'm trying to say. Or there are no current topics. Harish is asking, what is your monitor size? So my resolution, I think is what you're asking me about, is the 26 by 40 by 30, whatever. 3840 by 2160, which is almost 4K. Or is it 4K? But one of my displays does go up to 4000. This one. 4096 by 2160. But the size of the screen is something like, man, I don't even want to guess, because I'm so wrong about these things. Hold on, let me go look. I'll tell you what the actual answer is. Yeah, I would have been wrong. It's a 32-inch display, and I have two of them right here, and then a 40-something inch TV sitting right there that I got for free because someone that I worked with was moving away, and they had 3 TVs that they wanted to get rid of, and I was like, I'll take them off your hands. How much? It's like, free. I'm like, what? So we got 3 LG TVs. Welcome the hack on in. Do you get it? Do you get it? Hack. Anyway, DC Aggie said after that comment, for example, don't use the prefix underscore prefix naming convention for private members unless they are static. So what you would say there is only use underscore prefix naming convention for private members when they are static. Otherwise, use, and then whatever the other option is. Otherwise, use camel case without the underscore is how I would word that one. Marcus said the prompt files also has a run button at the top right, so you don't have to ask Copilot to run it. Huh? Huh? Where? Wait, that's the stored procedure. Copilot instructions is in the right tab. What are you saying to me? What is this magic that you're telling me? Custom instructions. Oh wait, the prompt files. Sorry. Prompt files. Thank you. Prompt files also have a run button. And also you get the prompts down here, I want to say. You also get the list of prompts somewhere. I can't remember where. Again, I just saw it in passing during MS Build. But there is just an easy way for you to be able to click and choose that prompt to run it. Like come up with an implementation plan for, and then you type in the rest of it. Kind of thing. But that one, you just click the button. DC Aggie says, you think my Visual Studio settings and the context of the rest of my code, but not your Visual Studio settings though. I don't know why, but it really does not like using my Visual Studio settings. Instead, what I recommend is right click and add, nope, what is it called? It's not add new editor config. It was, maybe it's on the project only, but there's a button to be able to generate the editor config. Oh, it's in tools options. Under text editor, C#, code style, generate editor config. So I recommend having the editor config inside of your repo instead of asking it or hoping that it uses your editor settings. And then Marcus Voice Coder said, custom instructions should be as lean as possible because it gets sent every time. Regarding Code Rush, when you install it, it has a wizard, so you could turn everything off apart from markers. Then your keyboard shortcuts should be intact. Awesome. That sounds like a great idea. I'm going to write that down. I'm not going to do that now because I don't want to hose my VS install. I am in the middle of trying to do way too much, but I am going to copy your mensaje in pasta. Jigsaw says, I'm hiding to catch the bullies. You're one of them. Stop bullying me. I will quit streaming. I really will. I don't think you understand. I am not here to be bullied. That is not the experience I want. Marcus says, bring your own key, I think they call it. Ooh. And Harish is asking in inches, so 32. These AI models don't seem to generate much revenue outside of software development. Again, it comes down to money. It comes down to money, doesn't it? Run it? Question mark? That's not a prompt file. You're a prompt file. Oh, prompt file, not instructions. Add context. The bookmarks persist when you restart, by the way. That's awesome. That's even cooler. Yeah, I'm definitely using this when I'm in Visual Studio Code, which seems to be a lot more lately since I'm using Copilot in Visual Studio Code more than in Visual Studio. But I still like to do my own software development parts in Visual Studio. The tooling, the IDE, it's comfortable for me. I know my way around. So if I reopen Visual Studio Code and I hit Control-Shift-R, once all the extensions load, I mean, then we can go back to here. And there it is. That is so cool. I love it. 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 And then DC Aggie said, editor config. President Not Sure said, done. The end. He just says, done. Hello, Zerg. How are you? Today is Brighter Day, Community Day. Welcome the hack on in. Anyway, the rest of what President Sure... The rest of what President Not Sure said was, don't make me come back there. DC Aggie says, as the VS boat shows signs of leaks, this rat will probably flee to writer over VS Code. Yeah, probably, but I don't know that there's going to be a decrease in Visual Studio releases support. Unless you're saying that Visual Studio, like, I don't think it's going to sync. It may continue having random weird bugs, but I mean, I don't really know any applications that don't have random weird bugs. That's a lie. I'm sure there are some that I could think of if I thought hard enough. But one of the main things that's been happening lately in Visual Studio, they fixed the whole there were two things. There was the when it creates a private property for you automatically, like you're telling it to take a constructor parameter, turn it into a private field, and assign it. It used to ignore your preferences for using the underscore camel case if you had that set for private read-only field or private or internal fields. They fixed that. The next one was when you were doing some refactor things, there wouldn't be any space around equal signs and not equals. It would just be all squished together. That's been fixed. But now there's one other thing that is happening a lot. And I can't remember what it is at the moment. I know it was just something odd that's like, that was never broken, and now it's doing that. Why is it doing that now? If I remember, I'll tell you. Zerg says, hi to Dukasoft. Because Duka. That's why. Did you hear that Jern found a place to live? I was there Tuesday? Tuesday. I want to say it was Tuesday. Maybe it was Wednesday. I was there on Wednesday. We rated him on Wednesday, didn't we? Is that when we rated him? Anyway, we were there. Point is, we were there, and he told us his story about going there, the internet, the breaking his clothes. Tuesday? Question man? No, I'm sorry your head hurts. I'll talk softer. Gonna try ice cream in addition to my Coke. Ooh, yum. Absolutely yum. Marcus Voice Coder says, the main problem is Visual Studio is using the old .NET framework in places. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. What is this big message that just popped up? About those errors. Weird. Okay, it's time for us to check in. Wow, it's not even going to close for me. To check in on the progress of GitHub Copilot Agent. I'm sure it's done by now. With the issue we were having with the add button on this screen giving us an error that says it's like having a baking show and you have something in the oven and you're doing other things while that's baking, and then you get to the point where it's like, all right, it's time to check on the cookies. We can't use uint32 in an input type number, or actually in a specific input number component is what this is saying. I didn't test swapping. What is that? Show me how to do that. Well, I guess we're kind of crashed. Close anyway. Just close. All right, I'm gonna let it open. I'm gonna let it open fully this time before trying to interact with it, and then we will try the swap. And you'll tell me exactly what it means to swap for this, because I didn't understand the concept of swap from the description of it. So you take your time loading. It'll be fine. Everything's fine. You'll be fine. Why didn't you open to the most recent project I had open? Huh. Okay. I think I need to open it from the folder. Wow, something is slowing down my computer. Computer. Okay, while I'm waiting for that, here's the error that we're getting. There was some chat. Microsoft seems to be prioritizing VS Code over Visual Studio, so I assume Visual Studio will fall further and further behind. But that's just speculation. Fair, very fair. I wonder what that button does. It's one of my favorite games to play. War and Peace, says Marcus. You didn't test the swapping, but you can do that anytime. We'll do it now. We'll do it now for sure. There's a save swap slot, and then there's a swap slot. And then Snobble says, by the way, today is Sweden's National Day. As per tradition, it's raining! I love the rain. Must be nice. Must be nice. The add command, that's what we're going to try. We were going to add a command at the top of the stream because DC Aggie was like, can we have an unlurk command? And I'm like, sure, let's test out the add button then. And it says, we can't use uint32 for input text, so, or input number. So we sent the issue over to Copilot, and Copilot worked on it on this PR. And it's telling us the problem that it understood was when clicking the add command button in the Blazor UI, the application was throwing an unhandled exception. This error prevented users from adding new bot commands through the web interface. Root cause: the issue is caused by using uint, unsigned 32-bit integer, types for the global cooldown and user cooldown properties in the bot command models. Interesting. Blazor's input number of T component only supports specific numeric types. That's stupid. Why in the truck would you only support specific numeric types in an input number? What the truck? Anyway, but does not support unsigned integer types like uint, ulong, or ushort. Change the cooldown properties from uint to int. Does that mean that you also put in guards to say this cannot be less than 0? I hope that means you put in guards that says this cannot be less than 0. So we updated global cooldown and user cooldown properties in the bot command DTO. The database properties are getting updated as well. You short sounds like a genre of one-liner jokes like Yo Mama. You short. You long. With the head move too. We should just. You sure? We should just let's make that a thing. Let's make it a thing. Nope, says President. Fight says. Oh my god. No, it was perfect. I loved it. That was awesome. Okay. Why does it say that it updated the database model? You shouldn't have to do that. This is a UI concern. This is a UI concern. Has nothing to do with the way you store the data in the database. The database can still use a ulong, ushort, whatever you want to be. And we just tell the DTO to be an int. Do I hook up? Date only. Oh man, an entire slang language just based off of C# keywords. Let's meet up date time, says Snubble. I would like a U float. U sync. This change is safe. Int provides ranges 0 to 2.1 billion seconds, which is more than sufficient for cooldown values. But it provides range from negative 2.1 billion to 2.1 billion. Are you guarding that? Dude? And actually, what is it in the database? Like, what is the actual data type? And why isn't SQL Server Object Explorer open? Oh, because it's pinned. When did I pin it? Special kid. Automated Realms bot. Bot commands. Global cooldown is big int. So that is going to be a database change, and I don't think the migration is going to be happy with that. No, I am not arguing with AI. If I were arguing with AI, I would be typing text at it with intention. I am just yelling at my screen currently, the way that I do at my own code. Automated Realms, do you float? You float, probably a typo or confusion with something else, like maybe the new nullable float syntax? But I think you're referring to that thing where we swap stuff around. What in the world? That's disgusting, Automated Realms. How dare. Okay, you can make Copilot smarter by giving it instructions. Yeah, I really don't want to change it from big int because I only want positive numbers. What is this? A swap chain? Hopefully that's not anything NSFW, because this channel is family safe-ish. Like, I don't mind cursing and stuff, but I am mindful of the types of viewers that we get, which ranges from all age groups. A series of image buffers used for displaying frames to the users in a computer graphics. Got it. I love following a tutorial that uses EF and finding that things like favorite color are stored as varchar max. Like, if you don't, and varchar even, that's insane. Why are you frozen? Or no, varchar is fine. Varchar. I was thinking just regular char, fixed with character. Varchar max, I mean char max would be stupid. Varchar max isn't as terrible. It's not great, but it isn't as terrible. Holy crashed. Why did you crash? What? It is broken. Did you know that I had the automated bot realm solution over on this screen over here? Charmax would be something. I don't think I've ever seen it, thankfully. You broke. You completely broke. You frozen. Just crash. Just crash. Wait, it wasn't that it was just open over there. It was that it reopened itself. Oh dear. I mean, thank goodness for repos. Shout out to Canny Dev. Oh man. I have no idea what's going on right now, but my Windows Explorer is frozen. That just said that the solution file could not be found on disk. Okay, so honestly, I'm attributing this to something that's happening in Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code was the first one to freeze and crash. I'm not blaming it on the extension. If you saw, the error that it told me about in Visual Studio Code was about Docker and not being able to load the Docker extension. Or not the Docker extension, the container. So let me use Explorer real quick to make sure that Explorer is not frozen. I can't open Windows Explorer, File Explorer. Let's just crash the whole desktop. See what happens. If we lose connection, I will be back as soon as I can. We still have another 30 minutes to close out for Community Day, 20 minutes. And we will get this swap thing tested. We will, dagnabbit. That froze Task Manager, trying to restart explorer.exe. Froze Task Manager. Swip, swap, snip, snap. There was a brief time when 3.5-inch diskettes were called stiffies because they weren't floppy nor hard. We dodged a bullet there. Just trying to ride that line, aren't you? Aren't you? How far can I push? You don't need to find out, trust me. You don't need to know. But it's technology related. Everything froze. Everything froze. I mean, Windows Explorer stuff froze. So for whatever reason, File Explorer is not opening. The only things that I can think of that would cause that are a failing drive, and it's trying to read through the drives list. Did Angie restart maybe a network drive that is disconnected, that it's relying on for running an application, which there shouldn't be any at all. Shout out to TVD Gamer, who should be back next week, or so he hopes. No, Angie is still running and his Windows Explorer is fine. His drives are all fine. So it's not Angie. Is it Lev? Hey, Lev. What if I stop the app? Maybe it's this. Sits back and watches the crypto mining results roll in from 11D's machine. That's what it feels like. It's weird though, because it's the mobile studios fan that's been kicking up and making a whole bunch of noise, but the PC has been very, very quiet. Its fans have not revved up at all lately. All we wanted to do was just add a, you know what? We can at minimum do that. All we wanted to do was just add a command, see if the add command button worked. So much money got made today. I heard you singing it. So yes, it absolutely did modify the database entity for global cooldown and user cooldown values. It updated the... Why is there an ibot command model? Anyway, it updated the ibot command so that it also matches, so that there are no errors there. And then the bot command DTO so that it matches. Wow. I don't know what's going on. I'm definitely going to have to restart my computer after. I don't know if you saw, but that was Explorer crashing just now. All right, let's try to open up Visual Studio Code without trying to open Windows Explorer. Yeah, it just feels like a hard drive or a drive crash. Probably the D drive. Who needs Explorer anyway? The D drive is my dev drive. Uh-huh. Yeah, what are the chances my D drive just crashed? Dev drive, that doesn't sound too important. Well, it's not. Although I do have some local projects on it, but the majority of it is on GitHub. And I've committed all of my changes. Yeah. I'll restart afterwards, but like my start menu is missing all of my recents. Yeah, that's really scary. Yeah, I did commits, but did you push? I don't know anymore. I don't know. And why are you taking so long to shut down? Yeah, I'll restart after we're done. So, oh man, since we can't do code and find out whether or not it was successful at the moment, we can continue discussions in another area if you have any discussions that you would like to bring up. Lev. Oh, Lev. What if I opened the project on Lev? Because I have automated realms on, I keep saying automated realms. It's the bot. Automated realms bot on Lev. That loads fine. And if I do a pull and I check out that branch, pilot fix 11. Yeah, let me try that. Why do we punish ourselves with new bits? Aspire has been nonsense all day with the Cosmos emulator. Admittedly, the emulator is in preview, but that's one thing that I still don't really get. We're adding a whole bunch of additional layers to the applications that we're making. Like, let's use Aspire to orchestrate spinning up all of the different technologies that we use. Containers, databases, whatever other services you use. And setting up Aspire, because I haven't looked at any of the, I don't want to watch other people's videos on stream. I'll watch it myself. But it's like, why are we just adding more complexity? Because I don't, like, there was a whole bunch of additional things that needed to be done in order to get Aspire itself up and running. And I was like, it just feels like we're inadvertently, by trying to make things easier on ourselves, we're inadvertently creating a lot more work than it would be if we were to do something like just put, like right now, yeah. That's what we can do. Hi, Napalm. So for example, TBD is trying to use Blazor for his open source project because he knows he has a feeling that that is what most current web developers use. And if it's going to be open source, then why not use the technology that most people are going to use? But he put Aspire on top of it, which is a barrier to entry for me. But not only that, when he runs the application in dev, he has this long wait that he has to wait every single time for the application to load. So his feeling seems to be, the way that he reacts on screen, is that Blazor is taking forever and it has to rebuild and it takes forever to relaunch if I make a small change. When really it's because Aspire is on top of that and all of these services are getting spun down and spun back up for whatever reason between changes. As opposed to if you were just doing development with Blazor only, talking to the database, using whatever internal stuff it wants, it's pretty quick. It's like, it's a pretty smooth flow. And yes, your application does take rude edits a lot more often than you would think, but the rebuild and launch process is still pretty fast. Yeah, I think so. I think Aspire kills hot reload, even though it's already worked as it is. But yeah, yes. So anyway, I do want to read chat and then we'll continue on that topic. You bot, I bot, we all bot. Who needs Explorer? Anyway, dev drive, that doesn't sound too important. Or is it a runtime? We'll find out. And if I restart and the computer says drive OS not found, then I'll know that I made a big mistake at some point in time. Or it's a runtime issue. Read that 6 times. But did you push? Napalm is here. Why do we punish ourselves with new bits? Aspire has been a pain. Made me go on a rant. Dukesoft said, I haven't even tried Aspire yet. Haven't found a use for it. But for me, that is. Yeah, true. And for me, again, I'm hosting 1 to 2 to maybe at most 10 users, 10 concurrent users at a time applications. So I'm just still using IIS and SQL Server and pretty straightforward configuration. So I'm not working in distributed systems. I'm not working in microservices. Therefore, it just seems like a lot of overhead for something that doesn't need that much overhead. And then Napalm says, oh, that's great, honestly. If you have dependencies, wire them all up, and it's plug and play with service discovery and client integration packages. There are just rough edges because it's a complex problem to solve. Yeah, very much, very much. And I'm not trying to downplay how useful it is when you do have a lot of other technologies working together, but do we need all of those other technologies? Like, the reason we need Aspire is because we're using so many other technologies when we probably have another approach that is just as efficient, that takes less orchestration, maybe. But I don't know that for sure. It's on a case-by-case basis, of course. Then DC Aggie said, Lion reacts to Aspire launch. Shocked YouTuber face thumbnail. Napalm says, actually less work in my opinion. Docker composes a... Yeah, and again, using Docker. So we have to use Docker. That's another technology that's on top of just deploying an application on the things that were working just fine. Or were they? There's a reason Docker exists. There's a reason containerization exists. And President Not Sure says, I hate YAML too. Slash, just backslash. Napalm then said, I mean, we solve the problem if we just go back to monoliths instead of microservices. Potentially, I mean, it's just taking another evaluation of the technologies that we are using. And are they really more beneficial using them? Because we can scale, we can target more people, we can easily spin up new environments if one goes down. We can have redundancy, we can have all of the cool things. But is this really still, in today's day and age, a good approach? Or is there something we can do better that would make it easier to manage, easier to maintain, easier to build on? And I think the latter is the case. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be ranting about this, would I? Snobble says, I think quick iterations is key. I agree. Marcus said, so Aspire would kill hot reload. Zerg says, I once worked at a company where it was normal to wait 27 minutes for the compiler to finish up the Blazor app. Wow. Yeah, so the place that I used to work at, the build and deploy the CI/CD pipeline was 30 minutes every time. And there was no, or 30 minutes to an hour, I should say. There was no, the build worked and it failed at the signing step where the DLLs are getting signed. You would have to go through the entire build process again just to get back to testing out if the thing that you fixed for the signing process is actually working, as opposed to you just have the build in one pipeline, have that output your artifacts, another pipeline would spin up that would do the DLL signing, and then you generate your output. No, not a thing. Not a thing. Anyway, I throw out tech that slow out my iteration speed. Oh, I throw out tech that slows down my iteration speed. Marcus said, I love it when Hot Reload works with Copilot agent mode. It seems like magic. Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever experienced Copilot in agent mode opening up a simple browser? That happened to me yesterday for the first time. And it was actually reading the DOM and iterating through the pages and clicking on buttons and stuff. It was kind of like Playwright. It's crazy. Hi, hello, says Eagle. What's going on in your world tonight? Are you busy? Does it make you dizzy? Only tell me if you're so inclined. Dugosoft says, please do update us on Discord. No guarantees, because this is the only computer I do Discord on. So if it's gone, it's gone. No, I do it on my phone too, I guess. Napalm says, I mean, supposedly you can start just one piece over and over without killing Aspire completely. I haven't figured this out yet, though. It always just dies for me. Yeah, that's annoying. Stony greets DFS, and Dukasoft says, E. DC Aggie says, Copilot, please use this convention. When creating a class that implements an interface, i.e. iConfig loader, name it in the style of Jar Jar, i.e. Misa config loader. Just like that. I think you would be able to tell it to do it that way, and that was a positive framing of what you want it to do, and I think it would do it correctly if you had that in your compiler instructions. Copilot instructions. Napalm says, will they claim we don't want to burn compute? Well, oh my gosh, reading words is not my thing. Well, they claim we don't want to burn compute, which is why we do containerization, which is why we make small little bits of the application go in very specific places that it's most efficient in and uses the least amount of electricity and such. Yeah, and cost less, apparently. I would argue monoliths are fine, just buy more VMs. Scale out, just buy more VMs. Like, they're gonna make just as much money whether we use VMs or we use containers. Snapple says, I don't use Docker. I haven't seen the light. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. It's just, is it really right for all of the things that we're using it for? And are we adding a whole bunch of other technologies that we don't really need in the application that we're writing? Is there something more simple that we can do in order to get this application to be all the things we want it to be? That's the main consideration that we just have kind of fallen away from. It's like, what are we used to doing? I'm talking about myself mostly in this. What are we used to doing in order to get an application up and running? As opposed to what should we be doing for this particular application? Zerg says, oh, I heard Docker. I know what it is. I just don't understand the problem it's solving. I kind of understand the problem it's solving. Marcus says, Docker exists so people could use their new programs on old computers. I don't think you're wrong about that. President Not Sure says, lots of typos from me today. I blame the Mac laptop keyboard. I blame my reading ability. I don't think it's you, it's me. And it's because of my inability to read words correctly that you're typing them incorrectly on occasion. Containers Avoid works on my machine and makes things run in the same environment no matter where that environment is. I like that answer. That's a good answer. Napalm says Docker is pretty great as far as consistent delivery for delivery. The box has the thing because you are shipping your app in a box. Orchestration is complex as all get out. Zerk says, for my problem, I just told Visual Studio to upgrade the solution file to the new format. It did something, and then it only took 27 seconds. Nice. DC Aggie said, Microsoft, we want to attract Python devs, so app.cs and minimal APIs, etc. Also, Microsoft, hello world, one step, one install VS Code, .NET SDK C# plugin. Have your Azure keys handy. Have you tried Aspire? Great impression. Repatriate to on-prem. That is actually a more viable option now with consumer-grade hardware, isn't it? For many of the companies, it's like maybe you have a cloud service for if you're like a corporation or something with a lot of locations and business establishments. Oh, what did that say? Wait, that's exciting. Ooh, exciting. Don't mind me. I'm just getting excited. What was I saying? We are at a point in technology where we can have affordable on-premises machines, especially if we can continue improving on our renewable energy technologies, which has been ramping up lately. Then it would be a lot less expensive to run, especially if the onus for keeping green is put on the companies. Then we can just have a way to distribute the load, the energy, the electricity load, the fossil fuels load. And yeah, it's just getting a lot more accessible to be able to do that. But President Not Sure says, it's not all necessary containers for what I do, which is just mobile dev now. Marcus said, I haven't made a typo for the last 7 years. Just a lot of misrecognitions. Digsoft says, I'm so excited. My throat is starting to get chapped. Chafed? Shaft. Arched. I was talking too much. But yeah, we are getting close to the end of the stream. Drink coffee. I don't think I want to do that to myself today. It's been a really, really good day so far. I've been super productive. I've been able to get a lot of stuff done, and my brain doesn't feel like it is going to compress and explode at the same time. Yeah. So I don't want to introduce an extra cup of coffee and just give myself headaches over the weekend. At least I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. Yeah. Seriously though, it's so weird. Like, I don't know. I really do think that Visual Studio Code was having an issue with Docker, because I have the .dev container. I don't know if you saw that, but in that particular repo, I have the .dev container set up, which is another thing that you can do to help out GitHub Copilot if you're using agents in your repo in GitHub. This one. So I have this now so that it knows how to set up the environment to have .NET 9 and dev container features, I guess, apparently. But if there's anything else that you need to add, when GitHub Copilot is doing stuff, that it can spin up the container with all of the resources that you needed to have in order to properly build and test whatever it is that you're having it perform code fixes or whatever on. So there's just so much to configure, so much to do with it, that if you can get it just right, it really will help enhance your products. But as anyone would say, any of us here would most likely say, don't trust it to be 100% right 100% of the time. Or ever, actually. There is still going to be work for you to look through whatever code it generates, verify that it is what is correct for your product. And there are going to be times when you're going to scrap entire issues, entire PRs that it has started, and say, you just went a completely wrong direction. You've mangled my code. We can't accept this. Just delete it. I'm going to do it myself. So again, there is still going to be plenty of opportunity for you, the developer, to be able to write code and continue doing what you love doing and be excellent at it. And there is also going to be the opportunity for you to enhance the way that you write code if you use it correctly. That is my elevator pitch. That is my sales pitch. All right. If you rate my extension, you'll feel better. Will do. Let's do it. Where is it? Dang it. Did we already have too much chat? I think we might have had too much chat already. There it is. Bam. This is fantastic. I love that you can have multiple bookmarks, but not just jumping you to the line. Also, storing the selection and scroll position. And I don't have to take my hands off the keyboard. Keyboard. Bam. No! Why am I not signed in? Why am I not signed in? I do want you to see that I am submitting this, but I need to sign in, and it's a flippin' browser pop-up sign-in. Why? Why wouldn't it be an actual UI login thing? That is one of the stupidest. I'm trying to be Irish John Games there, right?
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
What is that? Thank you so much for the bits. That was awesome. I don't remember picking that one, but it's so true. Oh no. And not only that, but they put the flippin' cancel button on the right when everything else has the cancel button on the left. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Let me do sign in first. And then I'll do the review on screen again. It's a trap. Okay. Well, you're going to get rated by automated realms. I thought that I was signed into my personal one, but no, you're getting rated by automated realms. Not my work one. All right, write an issue. Dang it, and it didn't save. It didn't save what I had? Wow. Yeah, seriously, man. User experience is crap. Only fair because AI wrote it. I wasn't talking about the extension. Definitely not. All right. This app or this extension is awesome. I love that not only does it allow you to save multiple bookmarks, it also restores the selection and scroll position when you jump to it. And I don't even have to take my hands off the keyboard to use it. Okay. Dun dun dun. Okay, we have one rating. Everyone else, if you have the time and the availability to, thank you. Check out the app, rate it fairly the way that you genuinely would rate it. Don't just give it a 5-star because I gave it a 5-star, but I genuinely do love the app. I don't know if you could tell by the way that I was raving about it, by the way I was reacting when we were using it. And hello, Rob Lang Dev. Perfect timing. We are ending the stream. Shout out to Rob Lang Dev, though. Oh man, I really want the dashboard to work now. Again. It's okay. Are you starting your stream now? If you start your stream now, we can raid you. Rob Lang Dev is a game developer extraordinaire. Very, very much pleasure to watch him work. He works on a game called Clumper. I need my dashboard to work so that I can add a command for Clumper. But if you, I'm not streaming just now, but thank you. If you have a link to it, please provide it. Or maybe there's already one. But he is amazing to watch. He's soft-spoken, but also just a joy. He is very funny. I don't know if you intend to be funny, but you are hilarious. I just love watching your streams. It's great vibe over on your channel. Good times. He has some devlogs on YouTube that are also quite entertaining. So check him out everywhere. We'll wait for a link from him if he can find it. If not, I'll just open up a stem and grab it from there. Klompa. Share. Shit. Isn't there a share link in Steam? Oh my gosh, isn't there a share link? Somebody tell me how to share this. Is it this? Copied. All right. There it is. The link to Clumper. Fun looking game. You play as a mechanic who's trying to keep this place from exploding from too much pressure, and you create a whole bunch of pipes and you throw little Sparkies who are going to be the mascot of the game. You have to make plushies. You have to make plushies of these. So kawaii. But yeah, these guys jump out everywhere when it gets too hot and you need to take care of them. Otherwise, the whole place just burns down. It just burns down. And then you make this face. It's a great idea. It's an orange ball with eyes, but I mean, they have a unique look to them. I'm sure that there is something you could do to represent the flames coming off of it. They're just the best. Dang it. Okay, anyway, so that's Clumper. Or as I'm going to make the, oh no, I'm going to make the command eventually, once it comes back up to a point where I can add commands, it will be called Clumpa. Yeah, so definitely check out Rob Lang whenever he goes live. Amazing times over there. I'm going to go to this screen because we need to wrap up so that I can get back to my workday. I won't be doing too much on this computer because it's obviously about to explode on me or something. I will try restarting it once, but after that I need to focus on getting my job done for the rest of the day. So stand up. It's so weird doing stand up by just by myself. So if anyone else has a stand up, please feel free to type it in chat. I'll try to say mine slowly. So a stand-up, for those of you that have never been part of a development team or haven't heard of stand-ups or have heard of stand-ups but aren't really sure how they go, you would just typically say, here's what I did. Sit down. Here's what I did. Here is where I'm currently at, and here is what I'll be doing. And here are the things that I need help or no blockers. There's nothing that is keeping me from continuing. So my stand-up for today is that this morning I have been working very, very hard on getting the RTrack stored procedures stuff working in the remade RTrack app. I know that I've been trying to do most of that on stream, but I really just want to get the RTrack stuff done. The big hurdle with that is the I'm using Copilot agent mode in GitHub. It was that project that I was showing on stream, the RTrack DB reference, to ask it to convert all of the stored procedures that I provided to it in SQL files to C# methods, and it is losing business logic. So I don't think it's going to be a viable way for me to go. I just need to stop trying to go that direction, and I'm just going to stick to using calling the stored procedures directly. I need to solve the issue of how it knows which user it's using and what roles they are a member of, because some of the stored procedures uses member. So that's where I'm at. That's what I'll be doing for the rest of the day today and Monday and Tuesday. And then we'll be back on Wednesday. So that's my stand-up. Napalm says, I built Cosmos emulator functionality into Aspire app. Continued. Working on Aspire and trying to keep sanity, as is tradition. No blockers. Rob Langdev says, I've broken the core mechanic. Steam powering machines. Next up is fixing it. That kind of sounds like what TBD did to Liquid Sky. I think I know how. Obstacles. Family responsibilities. Oh man. Marcus says, thank you for looking at my extension. It's a great extension. I am really happy about it. I will be using it when Visual Studio Code comes back up. Dukasoft says, I finally opened Visual Studio and worked on my WYSIWYG editor. Now it can save in JSON format. Also, I'm the blocker. Snobble says, I did model changes for storage movements and writing stored procedures for one monolith. Currently, I'm writing Friday shaders and will relax during the long weekend. Awesome. You have a holiday on Monday? I might have some personal issues blockers, but I hope not. I hope not as well. Zerg says, I started research on how to get Direct Show to give me the feed from OBS virtual cameras. Is that going to be open source? Direct Show is quite old and requires a lot of comm calls. Oh, okay. So unless Direct Show is not something that I want to be using, I do want something that will get OBS virtual camera feed and be able to interact with it. But I interrupted your stand-up. Sorry about that. Direct Show is quite old and requires a lot of comm calls, and I am not really proficient at those. Need to figure out how to get images from the feed and implement it into Lisa Live. So Lisa is the project that Zerg has been working on for a while. It is everything AI related in one avatar, one package. So thank you all for your stand-ups. If anyone else does have anything more, then we can read them while we are getting ready to raid out. But we will raid out, and we're going to raid out to someone we haven't raided for a little bit. She's been raiding us, but we haven't had the opportunity to raid her back. She's still going. Hopefully she'll be going for a little while longer. I am talking about the one and the only Anna Sastev. She looks like she's about to quit, though. Don't quit. Stay. 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 Snabble says to Zerg, Claude is pretty good at comm. Most probably. And yeah, Dukasoft ended the stand-up. Thank you so much. Except that DC Aggie has his stand-up. Working late tonight for a deploy. Looks like consolidations of colleges will cause horrible issues for one of my important apps. Oh, let me start waiting. Because for some reason they decided not to update program numbers to match their new college. That's stupid. Yeah, I have a database data migration to do. I changed over the data structure for our triadic memory archive, and it involves allowing multiple users to have multiple summaries for a chat conversation, essentially, instead of just one overall summary for a chat conversation. So that's fun, and it's causing a lot of issues with the way the app was. My videos do get posted to YouTube after the stream, so if you feel like watching it back, you are welcome to. And yeah, catch you again on next Wednesday if you happen to be around. Ciao for now.